So we're back in Neutopia and we're getting ready to take on the third crypt. You notice that now that we have more heart containers and full health, that our fire wand actually makes like this trail of fire as opposed to just a little ball of fire. So that's useful because it helps burn, a better chance of burning things. Before we go into the crypt, we're gonna grab a couple of health potions so that we can ensure that we'll live. These dungeons get a little harder, and some of the enemies and things that we'll encounter are going to be new, so we're not really, might not necessarily know how they're going to behave. So we could find the potion seller, and he's selling potions. We can hold up to 2 of these, so $300 each. We'll buy 2, and that way we'll be sure to be able to make it through. So I never did find a healer in this area, but by loading the save game, you do start with full health, which is kind of interesting because if you die and continue, you only have 3 health containers filled. But if you quit out and actually load the game from scratch, you have them all filled. So we did pick up a cherry there. That'll help us a little bit. Just gotta get through these little caterpillar or cricket men or whatever they are. Up the stairs, and here's the labyrinth that we're gonna go after. Some more cherries, so we're only halfway, only half a cherry or half a health container away from full health. So beetles apparently just seem to walk around. Now, right there when I got hit, and right there as well, I'm trying to use my fire wand, but I've noticed that there's something weird going on with my controller, that the 2 button doesn't always work. At least when I first start playing. It seems to be fine after it warms up or something. I don't know if it's just dirty contacts or whatever, but yeah, that's why I got hurt there by some beetles. And when I entered this room, you notice I needed to use my moonbeam moss in order to brighten the room up, otherwise it would be difficult to walk around here. I don't think it's impossible, especially if you know the levels, but without the moonbeam moss it certainly would be a lot more difficult to traverse some of these rooms that are darkened. These guys, I don't know what these guys are, like mushroom something or others, I don't know, they shoot or spit or something, and they can shoot up to 2 at a time. So here we found the crystal ball, so that'll give us a map. This dungeon's one of the most elaborate ones we've seen so far. If we look at our pause screen map, the shape is pretty simple, but there's a lot of passages that are discovered if you bomb. There's a lot of shortcuts that bring you to certain ways. If you keep going up this way, it's possible to cut way over left even though it's not visible on the map. It does just get you eventually back to where you need to go, and it just shortcuts some rooms, but by shortcutting those rooms you can actually miss some stuff that you might need. So again, here we're going to need the moonbeam moss to light up our room here. These guys seem to, when they spot you, they seem to run a little faster towards you. They don't really have a weapon or an attack. It's just kind of one of those things where they'll just bump into you and you lose health that way. But he's walking slow, and if he turns around, well, he didn't have time, but if he turned around and saw me, and there's a chance that he'll kind of run at me. So here's an old man chained to the wall. He gives me a bronze shield. So they chained him to a wall, but they didn't take his chest with the shield away. But hey, we'll take that. We'll open up the shield, and hey, that should just deflect more damage. I still don't think it deflects everything. I'm not sure if it's possible for maybe the next shield, which is the last shield, to do everything. But here you can see I found a hidden passageway, and this just shortcuts me back to basically like the second room of the labyrinth instead of walking all the way back. That's where those first bunch of beetles that I fought were. And I already went right, so we're going to take a left here after we kill these beetles. Let's see if we can find some cherries or something that'll help restore some health. Of course, it doesn't help when I lose even more health. But again, some of these earlier games, the controls, you have to be so specific. Even if you're lined up 1 or 2 pixel rows off, your sword will miss and the guys will walk into you. And sometimes it less likely than that though, but sometimes it'll be to your benefit that something isn't quite lined up. But usually, at least in my experience, it seems to be that I just kind of get the raw end of it. So there's some fire guys, and I'm killing with my fire wand, which I think wouldn't, at least they might be fire, I don't know, but they look like fire, and I'm killing with fire wands. Now these guys are jerks. These are cloths, I think, or something like that. They don't have any weakness to fire, so the fire wand does nothing to them. And what they do is they can disappear and just continue to move towards you. And then it obviously makes it difficult to attack. So they already disappeared, and if I didn't move, he probably would have spawned on me and hurt me. The other thing that makes it difficult is when they're up on the upper wall like that, they can be high enough off the ground where you can't hit them. And even though they, you know, they're in the same x-axis as you, just because they're higher up off the ground, your fireball and your sword both miss. So it's really kind of a good idea to keep them away from the top row of the level. That way you can actually hit them. So I don't really know my way around this dungeon, so I'm just gonna go in one direction and see what happens. Here are some gel guys, and these are kind of like in The Legend of Zelda. There's those big, like Hershey Kiss looking gel guys in the dungeons, and if you don't have the right sword, they kind of duplicate, or they kind of replicate into smaller pieces when you attack them. These guys are like that regardless of what sword you have. They're basically, there's a bubble around them, and then when you attack them once, the bubble shrinks, and just the little green thing inside is the new enemy. The fire wand, when you have full, I think that kills those bubble guys pretty much instantly. I don't really know why, but I don't think it takes 2 hits with the fire wand to kill those guys. Everyone else pretty much seems to take 2 hits. So this door didn't open. We're gonna have to be careful because luckily we found the stone to open that door. But those red doors, see that there I used the fire, killed that guy instantly. Gotta remember those red stones are the ones that shoot the swords out if you get near them. So luckily we were able to find the door to that, or the switch to that to open that door without too much difficulty. So this looks like it's the room where the boss is, but we haven't found the key yet. We found the shield. I don't even remember if we had the crystal ball. We must. That room is tricky because there's like a little sewer grate, and enemies just keep coming out of it, like 10 or 12 or whatever. And then when you kill them, more of them come out. So there's no real point unless you're really looking for coins or some kind of item to stay in there too long, because there's just a lot of enemies and it's not really beneficial to do so. So all we really need, I think, at this point is to find the key. Yeah, because we do have the crystal ball. So here's some more little demon guys. Again, these guys don't really attack. They just kind of walk at you and hope you walk into them. Found the hourglass to make things a little easier. We were able to find the correct stone to push to open the door, and found a room with a treasure chest, and inside the treasure chest is the key to the crypt. So now we can backtrack a little bit to get to the crypt, and hopefully we can get the third medallion that we need. So it wasn't too far. I think it's just down to the left. So we got to go through the room with the sewer grate with all the endless supply enemies. Get through here. This is the door to the crypt. or the door to the boss rather, and then see right there's a good instance of where I used my sword, but my sword was just like 1 or 2 rows high, and it wasn't able to just completely bypass the guy. Just a matter of there we go. We're gonna use our fire and take those guys down. Some cherries. So now we're only half a heart container, as similar like when we came in here. So these bosses look kind of hard, but they're actually easier than some of the other ones. As long as you know how to avoid their projectiles, which kind of shoot out in all 8 directions, then it's kind of easy to guide them. Now I'm using the fire wand, which takes a little bit more time and hits in order to take the guys down, but I don't have to be as close to them, so I should be able to get through this fight, without too much damage to myself, too much health loss. They don't both die at the same time when you get one of them. You have to actually take both of them down like a single, as 2 separate enemies. And I don't really know if I've been attacking one more than the other, but we'll just keep fighting here and see if we can get through this. Yeah, obviously there's just gargoyles. There's nothing terribly special about them. I paused there for a second to see maybe I want to use my health potion, but I'm going to take my chances. I don't really think that this is that difficult, especially now that I've killed one. This one's probably at least halfway dead. As long as I just play it smart, I should be alright. And kind of get him in the corner there, got a bunch of hits on him, that's good. Shouldn't be much longer. There he goes. Alright, so I was able to successfully defeat the gargoyles without using a health potion. And that's going to bring me back to the old lady. So she's going to take the jewel and put it on the floor and tell me, excellent, thanks, but you need to get the rest of them. She gives me another heart container. I believe that gives me 9. And that about does it for now. I'm going to go check one area that I kind of skipped in previous thing. I realized it by looking at the strategy guide that there was one area that I wanted to check. There's an old hermit that lives in a little shack, and he actually kind of shed some light on the 4 different worlds: the sea world, underworld, and sky world, and whatever. So this is his house here. And he says, so many hidden rooms and labyrinths for Dirth to hide of the medallions. We hear that there are 4 separate spheres in which he has placed the medallions: land, subterranean, sea, and sky. Seek out and explore the spheres to save our world. So, never kind of encountered that in my initial playthrough, so it's not very important, but it's relevant to the story, so I thought I'd share it. And until next time, smell you later.